The Great New Zealand Book Race has kicked off here in Katikati, and it will be finishing up in Christchurch. It's all part of New Zealand Book Month and encouraging young Kiwis to get themselves into a Kiwi book. So let's go and find out what it's all about. Piper, tell us about the New Zealand book race that is on at the moment. It's launched here in Katikati. What's it all about?
Well, basically, New Zealand Book Month asked us if we would like to be activists, and we thought, cool, we'd love to support our local authors. And basically, the idea is these kids here have chosen an author, got their book, going to read it, and then they're going to pass it on to a friend who's going to read it to get down to Papanui College. And Papanui College is doing the same thing way back up.
Cool, and it's kind of like the most reads that a student wins the competition.
Right, anybody who reads a book by a New Zealand author or one of the books in the race can upload a blog to the site or email it to me onto the website, and then they're in for prizes.
Can you kind of cheat and read heaps of like Joy Kelly and Margaret Mahy books, and because you know, like New Zealand authors, kids' books?
Yeah, and it's not cheating. We want you to read, if you just love Phyllis Johnson and you read all of her books, or Susan Brockers and all of her books, and upload a separate blog for each one, that's fine. You're in every time you write a review.
Oh, that's great. And we've got one of the authors here. Her name is Lee, and she's had a book published. How you doing, Lee?
Hi.
And
Hi.
what was the book that you've had published?
I've got Battle of the Birds published.
Yeah, that's so cool. Exciting stuff. Now, what's it like now? How long have you been in the game?
How long have I been writing?
Yep.
Not very long, actually.
Oh, really?
No, not at all.
Because some of these authors here today have been writing since they're like 15, but you've only been writing...
Just recently, just the last few years.
Oh,
yeah.
wow. Was it hard, do you think, getting into the game at this age, or is it just like...
No, there's no rules. You can start whenever you like. Yep.
Oh, I love it. And so what's your favourite part about being an author?
Well, part of being the book race has just been I've been able to network with 20 New Zealand writers who are all really excited about coming on board and being part of this project, so that's been really exciting for me. I've really enjoyed that.
So how long does it take to write a book? I mean, every book's different, but for the one that you got published, how long did that take you?
Well, that book took me 3 months to write,
Yep.
and then it took me another year to fix my spelling mistakes.
Oh, no, so I'd be the same as well, because you can't really do spell check, or do you write it out longhand, or do you type it out?
No, I use the computer.
You do use spell check, that's cool.
Absolutely.
Do you ever get writer's block, like songwriters?
No, there's no such thing as writer's block. I have this trick where I write the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, and when I've written it twice, I'm so bored I will just automatically write something else. Yeah.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's pretty exciting that you've published a book, and so do you have to go through a publisher, or
You don't have to. There's lots of new opportunities for writers these days, especially with the electronic book media becoming really popular. So it's an exciting time to be in writing, because we just don't know kind of what's going to happen. It's really exciting. You can write a print book, or you can think about putting it up on the internet. So yeah, lots of opportunities now.
And tell us what's happening here today. So you guys are taking part in some little mini workshops?
Yeah, we're getting a chance to talk to some of the book champions from the Great New Zealand Book Race. These are the kids that are going to be spearheading our books around the country, getting them from Katikati down to Papanui and Christchurch. So really great to meet these kids. They're really enthusiastic too.
All right. All the best with it, and hopefully your books get out there more. So
Thanks very much.
we're going to go and have something to eat, and we're going to be checking out some more cool books, so stay tuned.
I always liked to write, but I started out as a scientist, and I used to write sort of boring reports and scientific articles and things like that. But I always kind of liked to write stories about my travels and things. So eventually I decided, when the children were little, I decided it was about time I got round to writing those stories down. And so, but I've only really been seriously writing for about 3 or 4 years, actually.
Who or what inspired you to be a writer?
Well, actually, I was very, very lucky. My grandmother was a school teacher, and she inspired me with a love of words. She used to come up with these really great new words and sort of test me and see if I knew what they meant. And then I was very lucky to have a really, really good English teacher at school, a lady called Galen Gordon, who's a very famous New Zealand writer, like your English teacher's going to be one day. And so she kind of said, you know, you really should be a writer one day. And so that kind of sort of sat in the back of my head, and I thought about that for a long time. And so I guess those are the people that inspired me to write.
Where did you first start writing?
I think I just wrote right from the very beginning. I just always kept notebooks and scribbled things down, and just didn't really get into writing books until later on. But I always wrote something. And if you're writing a diary, or if you're writing letters, it's still a form of writing. If you're writing a blog, it's still a form of writing. So I've always kind of been a writer in a sense.
Lots of inspiration there. I loved going to that. It was very interesting to know. And anyone can write a book. And I reckon it's great because there's so much to write about. You could document your life, your story, and who's to say in 100 years someone might dig it out and be so touched by it, might open their eyes. It's kind of like a time capsule, really. You know, when you kind of put all the history and stuff away of objects and someone digs it up like years later. It's kind of like that. A book can have so much treasure in it, and then you can dig it out anytime.